I think the first part of it is triple net properties versus what people have typically owned or their parents have owned, which might be a portfolio of apartment buildings, whether that's an 8-unit or a 40-unit, really doesn't matter, or it's the building that they operated the family business out of. Could be office, could be industrial, could be retail, whatever it is. And I think that having a triple net property as part of the portfolio is way easier than a building with ownership responsibility or that requires management oversight. And the reason that it's so much easier is that the tenant is responsible for all of the management of the property, the paying of the taxes, the paying of the insurance, the landscape maintenance, repairs and maintenance, all those sort of things. Because what I've experienced in 25 years in a situation where a family has someone pass away and heirs are going to take over responsibility for the property that they never had before is now somebody has a new job. Somebody who may have a bunch of kids, maybe doing their own business, now needs to become the responsible party that's overseeing the property for the surviving parent, their siblings, whatever it may be. That can be one of two things: very time consuming or require a huge education in how to do correctly. So the nice part about having net lease properties in the portfolio is that those responsibilities aren't necessary. The tenant is usually set up where they are paying the rent on a monthly basis via ACH, and all the owner had to do before passing away was make sure that the deposit had been put in their bank account at the start of every month. And that's all somebody's going to have to do once somebody's family member passes away, is continue to check and make sure that rent is in the account. Because of that convenience and ease, it allows a family that may be grieving or may not know exactly what to do yet to have the time while rent is continuing to come in to figure out what is the best strategy for everybody. Determining what the best strategy is going to be is going to come down to how long the lease term is remaining and what does everybody want to do. And those two things can take months or even years to figure out. But on a triple net property, the rent's going to keep coming in and there's not going to be any huge work or responsibility that a family member is going to have to do until the family has time to work through the grieving process, sit down with all their important advisors and figure out where everybody's at, how everybody wants to proceed, and then move forward. If the decision has been made that moving forward is selling the property and realizing the stepped up basis, a net lease property is probably the easiest to liquidate, both from a transaction management responsibility. There's one lease and the tenant's responsible for all of the management, maintenance, expenses that go along with it. So there's not a lot for somebody to put together or have to do. And then these properties are highly liquid. There's a very deep and dense market across the country for these properties that have varying lease terms, various tenant credit ratings. And so we can easily figure out what's the right price, there's a market for it, and then get it sold for the heirs to use the proceeds however they see fit.